All right. I guess we got Nicole. You get to do your first interview here today. We got a friend of mine, young rising star. I told you he's a big bang. You know, he's like dynamite. He's a smaller package, but he's explosive. He's full of energy. I don't know if it's all the energy drinks he drinks or whatnot, but Vinny Pacifico, how are you doing, Vinny?
Brad, I'm doing very good. How are you?
What's going on, man?
Just got back from the gym, doing some errands, a lot of stuff going on, but very happy to be here
You
and
getting
doing
married
well.
too?
Yes, I am. 2 months from now, I believe.
Oh wow.
Who's planning that?
Yeah,
You or her?
she's doing everything.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't know if you're doing a lot of the planning, especially with everything else you got going on.
And you
I'm
got
trying. I'm trying. She's really working very hard. She's making everything. She's doing all the decorations, and this weekend we had her bridal shower, and her friends did a really good job for her, and she was very happy with everything. So I'm very happy.
Awesome, awesome.
it's good. What do you got going on new in your world now?
A lot.
Besides
I'm
the
going to
wedding.
Japan
Besides the
later this
wedding.
year. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going to Japan later this year. I debuted for New Japan last month. I literally just signed a deal with G Fuel last month, and just it's been very busy. Very grateful for the opportunity I'm given, and I'm just really looking forward to taking things to the next level as always.
Tremendous. Tell us about the New Japan. Well, I saw a clip of it where literally you were selling something. You crawled to the corner and like spinach, he pops open his G Fuel energy drink. He drinks it and then he like almost like Jerry Lawler dropping the strap. You blow
Yeah,
sort of a comeback into whatever you get into there.
that's a great way to think of that. Actually, the strap drop. I'm gonna start using. I'm the strap drop. I'm gonna start using that. So I was in the gym hitting crunches, and I got an email from New Japan to book me that date. I'm in the area. They had a show in Philly, and I was game. That was it, and I was there. The match went really well. And that spot you mentioned, they cleared that, of course. That's something that it's different, and not every company will be okay with that. Licensing, and how
Yeah.
logos, like how logos could be, like you get in trouble for that and stuff. So you never know. Like, but they were
Oh,
cool with it. They do what they
yeah.
want to do and everything. Duncan, there we go, baby. So they were cool with everything. And I said, all right, this is great. Did the spot in the match with the selling the hold, crawl over, G fuel it up, and in that moment, it went so well, and just the crowd erupted so perfectly. I can't even explain how great it felt. It was the coolest moment of my career.
Well, I've known you from being with you on shows and everything, but I don't want to tell your story. Why don't you like break down your journey through wrestling, where you trained at, just your quick, brief story, however you want to tell it, up through the thing. I like to hear about Bang. I know you don't want to mention it here, but I don't think they even exist anymore. Like, but you did that deal, then you went to G Fuel. But where did you train at?
Ring of Honor, Cheeseburger, Red Titus, Delirious is a big part of my training. John Gresham as well. Throughout the years, I've traveled, went to England, did a lot of really cool things. I've had the chance to work for NXT last year for like a single match against Joe Gacy, someone I also am very cool with, and I respect the hell out of him. And just a lot of nonstop work. I believe wrestling is, I feel, in my personal belief, no matter, like, you can't stop. Like, there's nothing you could do and just stop wrestling. You have to keep going and keep getting better no matter what, and keep how do I put this? It's a never ending ladder to get to
It's
the top.
evolving.
Exactly. It's a never ending journey just to get to the top, and you can't ever be complacent with where you're at. I've learned that.
So how long you been training now? Or wrestling now?
I'm wrestling some 10 years.
10 years.
Wow.
I think it
Yeah.
was about 10 years before I got my actual first big contract. I mean, I was lucky. I was blessed. I did, I started out in Stampede Wrestling. I went to All
Mm-hmm.
Japan at like 19, 20 years old with Asawa and Kawada and crazy stuff. All the things
Holy
the
shit.
things you're kind of experiencing now. Then I went down to Puerto Rico, Memphis, but I worked full time and everything. But my first real deal came about 10 years in with WWE is when the Gangrel thing started. Yeah.
How'd that come about? Do you know what I'm asking? How was that experience for you?
What?
Reverse Uno card.
What part? What
No,
part?
when you got
See
the
what I told you
contract,
about?
how did
Huh?
That's awesome.
when they offered you the contract, like, what was your experience doing that?
Experience was all right. So, I've had multiple tryouts there, like through the
Mm-hmm.
years. The first time I ended up in Memphis because I went there and I did a tryout in '92. I did a vampire I was doing Vampire Warrior. I did that. They pretty much laughed at it, but Jerry Lawler came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to come to Memphis?" So that's how I ended up working in Memphis doing the Vampire Warrior there, and ended up with Rookie of the Year in like '93 in the PWI. So, which I think that PWI thinks a giant work now, but I won't get into that. But that's a whole other show and a whole other story.
Right.
But
Oh
I know
God.
people that never even wrestled that are on there. It's crazy. People put fake people in. It's just such a scam.
Wow.
But
okay.
so I tryouts. Then I just happened to be in California for I was on trip. Luna was working, and I was down in Tijuana. I was partying. I'm pretty sure I wasn't even sober. I might have been by the time I got back to Anaheim from Tijuana. It's a couple hours, but I get there and they go, "Hey man, do you got your wrestling gear?" And I go, "No, I don't have my wrestling gear." And then I mean I do have my wrestling gear, but I was like kind of backpedaling. They go, "No, we need somebody." Brian Christopher didn't fly it. Yada yada yada. She never watched Seinfeld. Do you believe that? You watched Seinfeld?
Oh my God.
Right?
Give it a shot.
Yeah, yada yada yada. And then I ended up going out there and I wrestled Taka Michinoku, probably somebody you loved and watched growing up. Taka, he was the junior heavyweight champion or whatever, and cruiserweight, whatever they called it. And I hit him with that impaler for the first time, and Vince McMahon happened to be walking by, and he goes, "Who's out there?" And they said David, and he goes, "Send him to the camp." So I ended up going to the camp. I was there 2 weeks or 1 week, whatever it was, but I was scheduled to go back to All Japan. They never asked me about anything while I was in the camp except for, what do you think of Andrew, which came test? What do you think of Matt Bloom? What do you think of this guy? They asked me about all these other guys, but they never asked anything about me. So I'm thinking, I'm done there. Nothing happened. So I'm halfway through the All Japan tour, and they offer me a year deal there to start tagging with Bobby Duncan Jr. And then Johnny Ace comes to me and goes, "Hey, Baba wants you for a year, but WWE also, or WWF also wants to hire you too. They said they got a contract waiting for you." So that's how it went down. I had to make a choice. And then ultimately Luna was there. So she talked me into going to WWF, which I wanted to stay in All Japan, but I went to WWF, which worked out for me long run with the characters and stuff. But then I get there, I signed the contract, and then they said, "We're not going to use you for like a year. You're just going to send you home." So I was heartbroken, shattered. They sent me home. I was home 1 week, and they called up, "Hey, can you still do that vampire thing?" Which they said they would never use. So I had to run out to Hot Topics like on a Friday night because I had a Saturday flight.
Hot Topic.
Come up with a white puffy shirt and suede pants and gimmick the fangs back in. Go to Journey's next door, get the boots, and there you go. That's what you had with me versus Scotty Too Hottie in the debut of Heat there. So that's how that happened. But it wasn't an easy road. When I say I had a lot of tryouts, I had probably what they called, I probably had 20 tryouts. They said, "Hey, these are tryouts." But I also I worked under the mask there as a Black Phantom. So there, at one point, all I did, they flew me to TVs at one point. I didn't have a contract. They flew me to TVs, and I sat in a gorilla position dressed in my gear. And I gave other people tryout matches.
Wow.
They just flew me in, and I sat there, and they would have me work somebody, go, "What do you think?" when they'd come back. So I kind of messed that all up when I chose to do ECW over that. And ECW ended up going, working with WWF. It was a big smiles or whatever. One of those mistakes you make, but it all worked out in the end, though. So yeah, but that's how
crazy.
That came about. Like,
that's all that matters.
You got any questions for him before he starts interviewing me?
Yeah,
That's crazy. I feel like
about your journey and what you're doing now. I guess, like, what are your goals for the next? Let's just focus on the short term. What are your next goals for the, I guess, end of the year, next year at most?
I'm gonna be
besides getting married.
Right, of course.
Yeah, right. Get signed. I mean, at this point, I've done. I feel like I signed 2 sponsorship deals with other major drink brands. That like.
Oh,
yeah,
well, Bang. Okay, then now you're currently with G Fuel, though. Let's be clear about that. G Fuel.
I was a Bang girl.
She was a Bang girl.
Back when they only had like 6 flavors before they came out with like all the other crazy stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Walk around in the bathing suits and give out the Bang at the hockey events and stuff.
Yeah, and I guess like I've wrestled.
Would they have called you a Bang boy? Would you?
They didn't call me a.
She was a Bang girl. Were you a Bang boy?
I guess they call them Bang athletes.
Or you're just a sponsored athlete.
Yes,
Bang
athlete,
yeah. Right. So how did the G Fuel come along then?
So I'm doing this Bang thing, and like Bang was really happy with what I was doing, but again, Bang was going through a lawsuit. So they were not focused on what the athletes were doing, sadly. They were just really focusing on what they had to do to get above water. And so I would send in my promos and like all these things I'm doing, and they're not really responding, and not really like getting it, you know. And that's fine, you know. They're more bases towards models, athletes, stuff like that. That I got an email says, "Hey, contract terminated," and I'm like, "What did I do?" And then I saw that Monster bought him out and all this. Okay, you know, I was like, "Shit," and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking. I never stop thinking. I always try to see what's next, what to do better, how to excel. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to go from someone sponsored to not anymore sponsored. That wouldn't be fun, or that wouldn't. I don't want to go backwards. You know, I don't want to just go from this to go to this. You know, I want to keep going forward. So I had some talks with G Fuel the last year when this whole character started with energy drinks, and I reached back to one of the managers at G Fuel, Eddie, Rob, and I was like, hey, listen, you know, my Bang deal ended. I had talked with other drink companies as well. I don't want to say who, but I've had talked to other major drink companies. But I hit up G Fuel because I felt like G Fuel is something I love the drink. I like what they push. They're very anime, cartoon,
video games,
superhero, and gaming based. You know what I mean? They're very based towards those type of things. And now, as you can see here, Jason and Chucky, I had these specifically.
Oh, go back to the Jason one. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I might have to try G Fuel just off that Jason one.
It's so good.
It's so good. I just want the can.
Yeah.
What's it taste like? Is it good?
There's like 13 flavors, and this Jason one is like 10 flavors in one. So it's like crazy.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like blood or something.
It's blood orange. There's blood orange in there.
Oh, there you go.
But so I hit them up. I'm like, hey, listen, you know, my Bang deal ended. I was more interested in you guys than the other company offering me something. And I was like, what do you want to do? And they're like, they were like sold on me, but they were saying like, hey, listen, we don't really do athletes. We're not, this is like, you're going to be new to this. You're new to us. So, you know, you're an athlete, you're a wrestler. This is different for us, but we're going to give you a shot. And I said, thank you. You know, this is awesome. I'm going to do what I can. And ever since then, I did the New Japan thing. They put me in and then once I did the New Japan thing, they were like, this is legit. This is really sick. And then the promos I've been doing, they're loving those too, you know, and sharing them, and they're getting even more views than they ever gotten before. So it's just really, it's a beautiful collaboration we're doing. And ever since then, they put me in a commercial with Champion Clothing. They're doing a collaboration of Champion and G Fuel clothing. And they had me for one of the commercials.
Is that when you were in San Francisco or somewhere? Or?
That the commercial was in actually.
I saw a picture. I thought I saw the Golden State Bridge behind you or something like that.
That's the George Washington Bridge.
Oh, my bad. Of course.
Close enough, right?
George Washington. Close enough. Wrong coast.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's just been beautiful so far. And also the best part about them is they call me, they give me ideas, they give me like opportunities. Like Bang again, I give Bang tons of credit. They've skyrocketed me as well. But G Fuel is actually taking initiative and calling me and trying to find other opportunities for me in the energy drink and anime space. Meet and greets, like booths, and you know, it's really, really beautiful. And there's more to come. I can't really say yet because the contract wasn't written, but there's something in the works with awesome. G Fuel and Vinny Pacifico.
Okay, so you mind if I rewind it back some then? Okay,
go for it.
So you were asking me how did my deal come about, this and this and that, and it's a journey. You know, I'll always say, you know, there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The journey is the jewel. You know, you got to enjoy the journey. So, you know, there's a lot of younger, aspiring wrestlers and athletes out there and stuff like that. So your journey, you started out in Ring of Honor, and you were trained by Cheeseburger, Grissom, a few other guys. So you come up there. Like I've been on multiple shows with you, and throughout that time, I feel like I've seen you in times of frustration, times of, I don't want to say desperation, but at a point that you're thinking, I got to make something happen, or what am I doing? I got to get on with my life, or I got to be a wrestler. I got to, you know, I'm either all in or I'm all out, you know, moments like that. And so what you come along, so now you're here with G Fuel, you're doing New Japan and stuff, but can you give us a little bit of that journey, you know, like in your own words, this maybe so it can help other people not give up, or see what you see, you know, or give them a little bit of guidance, you know, maybe you could be like a little, what do you call that?
Light bulb?
Yes. No, not a light bulb. Lighthouse. So, bring them in from the sea. Maybe they're in rough waters right now, and they're like at that point, do I give up? And go be an insurance broker, or do I
Yeah,
become
yeah,
a professional wrestler? You know.
So for me, it was wrestling my everything. Wrestling has always been number one. I told my fiance when I met her, this is my everything, Carly. Like,
Oh, I
this is
remember you
everything.
told me that. Yeah, yeah. I couldn't believe you
And
told her that. But.
she was like, she understood. Like, I am so she is so supportive. So in my opinion, in my advice, find a partner who will be supportive of your career and what your goals are. She has been a huge, huge star in terms of my career and helping me behind the scenes achieve things. And that's very important, I feel like, for anybody in wrestling. But there, so I have people who want to see me succeed. My father is somebody who's always been by my side and always been someone who's motivated me. And his health is not the best. His health, I mean, I just want to, for the longest time, I wanted to give him I wanted to give him like, hey, Dad, I got a contract. This is it. You know, I made it. Thank you for believing in me when no one else did in the family. And I was coming to the point where like his health was declining a little more than it was now. Thank God he's getting better. But I was like, I was getting desperate to where I'm like, I really need to make something happen. I want to do this before anything happens to him, God forbid, you know? And it was breaking my heart because I was like making him proud, but I know that being financially stable in my dream would make him more proud than anything. You know what I mean? And it's just, I wanted to give him that. But the G Fuel and Bang made him really happy. But I think after all of his support and his help and his guidance and his like motivation behind me, you know, if I could give him if I could make that dream happen a reality, that's where I feel it would all pay off. Not to say everything I've done isn't amazing. I'm very grateful for everything I've done. I just always want more, always striving. But
let me tell you though, your dad is happy. He's proud of you. Don't ever second guess that. He no matter what you think, you may feel what you're feeling, but I'm sure your father is absolutely amazed at the stuff you're doing and stuff like that. So don't think that he's not proud of you and that you don't drive yourself. I'm not a counselor or anything like that, but don't drive yourself crazy. As a father, so would be amazingly proud of you. So
thank you so much.
As somebody that's been on shows and watch you come up do the different things, I'm super, super proud of you. So I'm sure if I'm super proud of you, your dad's even more so.
And you are actually, Gangrel, you're someone who's also motivated me big time. And a piece of advice, I've given this on the podcast. If you're on a show with you, Gangrel, go to him for advice. Like when I started this character with energy drinks, I asked you for advice. I'm like, hey, what's the next step? How do I get to that next step? You said, get yourself a contract, not in wrestling, but something that involves energy drinks. And 2 months later, I got that in the email. So it's just you gave me that motivation to find what I needed to get me to that next level. And you really did.
Build your worth. Bet on you. Yeah.
So for anybody in wrestling who wants to know how to get to that next level or how to get better in terms of just getting your knowledge straight, definitely find the veteran on your show to ask advice and just come up to them and ask them about your match or anything like that. That has always been really good for me. And that's why when anyone asks me to watch their match, I always make sure I do because people did it for me when I needed it. And I just don't give up because I've always believed don't give up. And no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to make anything happen for you. You have to do it yourself. I've had to do a lot of things myself that no one else would have done for me. No one else. In terms of going to the show and, years ago setting up the ring, or no one's going to tell me to go to do that myself. I had to go and take it so you have to take initiative, always take initiative to do things to get further because no one's going to do it for you and no one's going to tell you to do it. You have to know to do it yourself and you have to want to do it yourself.
Awesome.
People see that. I think a lot of people are always watching. They're waiting, like you said, there's a lot of people waiting for you to fail, and you gotta sure you do things to avoid that because you gotta take care of you, protect you and your peace and what you're doing. Of course, your career.
I love that. That's so true. And your peace, yes, that's a big one. Protecting your peace. That's something that's so important because if you're doing these things, like this week, I have so much media and I'm so grateful for it, but if you're distracted and your mentality isn't there, you may lose out on opportunity there, and you don't want that. You want to be able to be dialed in at all things. So you want to adapt. Also, that's another thing, adapting to every single circumstance. I had a show recently trying to think of the situation. I slept 4 nights in a row in a plane. I've had 4 different cities and they were all cross country. So all nights were slept in a plane and I had no time to go to a hotel. So I had to adapt to sleep on a plane, wake up, stretch, take a shower, and wrestle. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to be ready for all these obstacles, you can call them, and be able to adapt to these things because you never know. And when you're able to adapt to these things before you're signed.
No, go ahead.
So,
listen.
No, but if you adapt to these things now, like I wrestled in cold, I wrestled in hot, I wrestled in overnight where flying over, you know what I mean? I've done all these things. And if you're adaptable and you could do these things without even second guessing it, you will be somebody that you can be counted on, I believe, you know? Right. So that's something.
As you're doing these things, Vinny, as you're not sleeping, you're cramping on the plane, you got to stretch, you got to shower in the venue, you're running, you're barely making your shows. When it's day on, and it feels like Groundhog Day and you're at your wit's end, what you got to remember is there's somebody that would sacrifice their sister for that spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to appreciate that you are able to do that and that you have those opportunities to do that. So you can't let that mentally drain you and turn your thought process on. I've seen so many people that start off in such a great spot and so willing and wanting, and they go in with such a positive energy. And then when that starts wheeling on them and that grind starts happening, that's why I always say all in, either all in or you're all out. Want some, get some, bad enough, take some. 24/7, can't stop, won't stop, fanging and banging. You got to keep pushing, but you got to know that you're blessed to have that spot because there's so many people that want that spot, but you are the man with that spot. So you got to give glory to wherever you're going to give your glory to, whatever God it may be. And you got to keep pushing forward and know it's a blessing and not a curse and not a job. When you're doing what you love, it's definitely not work. It's a blessing.
100%. I couldn't agree more. It's definitely a blessing to be able to be someone who's counted on for these things, you know, trusted, right? You'd say someone who could trust me to go out there and wrestle a match, getting there at showtime and being able to be match 3. It's a blessing to be able to do it, a blessing to be trusted to do it as well. And I'm very lucky. And like you said,
you don't have to do it. You get to do it.
Get to do it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Get to do it. I don't have to work. I get to work, you know. I have to clean my car. No, you have a car to clean. So that's the way I think.
Before we run out of time, I know you're a busy man. You got all your media. I don't want to hold you up forever. Give us your big moments. Give us matches that you remember that really stick with you and carry on.
Gangrel in Brooklyn. Remember that was one of my favorite matches I ever had. One of the matches that actually got me going, I would say. EC3, New Japan. That debut match was very, very big in terms of my net worth value. I feel like my value has gone up in terms of how do I put this?
Your work.
When you do different things, I feel like your value grows over time. So I feel like that definitely showed that like I could hang. New Japan definitely is one of them. Yes. Evolve was a big one for me because that was just a huge blessing in my life that happened. Even it being the last Evolve show that ever existed, you know, because of WWE buying them out. It was very, very blessed, very, very blessed to do that. Matt Sydal, somebody I wrestled plenty of times, who's just one of the best in the world, truly. Getting to be featured on the Kurt Angle podcast, that was a huge career highlight of mine, you know, because he's someone I looked up to as a kid, and that was just out of nowhere. That was truly special. Another match I did a lot of Ring of Honor matches, and those all were just tons of great experiences in my life. How we would travel overnight, get there, show day, do everything we had to do. It was just really, really cool to see at such a young age how the TV process worked.
Awesome. So trained in Ring of Honor, then moved on to Evolve, then did some Ring of Honor stuff. Then you did Bang, then you did New Japan. Now you're G Fuel. What's next? I know she asked you already, and you might have covered it, but what is next? What is your next big event? Do you have another one coming up somewhere? Do you
I'm going to Saturday. I'll be fishing Wrestling Magic.
I in that one building. I wrestled for Wrestling Magic a few times. Yeah,
you know that building.
The famous. It's in a little neighborhood right there, right? Yeah.
Yep.
With the 7-Eleven down the street. That's where I always eat out.
Yeah, exactly. You walk right there.
Yeah. I go down there and get my energy drinks, but I'm not gonna tell you what energy drink I drink. But I'm gonna try G Fuel just because of you. Today before class, I'm gonna show up with a G Fuel, but I'm gonna try to find the 10 flavors of Friday the 13th. There, Jason.
You got Jason. You got Fred, and then you got Freddie over here as well. the claws.
I'm afraid of Freddie, man. Freddie scares me. I don't want to bring Freddie into my nightmares and shit. I don't want to like Freddie freaks me out. He killed Johnny Depp, sucked Johnny Depp right through a bed, man. I can't mess with Freddie, man.
Can't do it. Are you a fan of Chucky?
No, I hate that little bastard.
Really?
You remind me of Chucky, but I like you. You're always go. Come here. I gotta tell you. Come here. Do a promo with me. Do an energy drink thing. You're gonna spray the blood. I'm gonna drink it. You try mine. I try yours. You spit it out. This guy's always trying to produce promo segments with his energy drinks.
Yeah.
The chalices in the blood. And one of them was really good. I like the one we did it kind of off on the side. There was like some weights over there. That was a fun one.
In New York. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't see the other one though, but that was a fun one.
That one of my first ones, actually, I would say. So Thank you for that. But yeah, next big thing, I'm going to Japan later this year, December.
Did you go already? When you did New Japan, was that in Japan or did you do it in the States?
New Japan was in the States, in Philadelphia.
So now, is this your first trip to Japan?
Yes. Not going to Japan, but
that's awesome.
That's exciting, huh? Where are you going to? Tokyo or where are you going to? Osaka? Narita, Tokyo. Okay, yeah, there's 2 airports. Narita's one. I love Japan. I haven't been back since 1998. Well, I did a military tour a couple times, but I did 18 different tours up to that point. You know, I started out in all Japan. Then I went with IWA, did all the monster stuff, Freddy Krueger's and Jason's and Leatherface's, and I was a vampire.
I love it.
Rode through all that. Then I finished up with that last tour of all Japan when WWF hired me. And I haven't been back since. I've been heartbroken. I absolutely love Japan. I think you're gonna love it too. And I'm very excited for you. More than the G Fuel and this and that. I'm excited for your first trip to Japan, and I'm very proud of you. Yeah, just so happy for you. I can't tell you how happy I am for you. Do you have any more questions for him so we don't hold him up before we ask him how to find him? Or anything? You sure? Nothing? Raymond, you got questions for him? No, you don't have nothing over there? All right. Well, where can everybody find you on their social media so they can follow you and get on wherever?
Twitter is Vinny Pacifico 1, Facebook Vinny Pacifico, and Instagram Vinny Pacifico. Simple enough.
It's a really good name, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a good name.
It's catchy.
It makes me want to go to the Keys and have a beer, like Pacifico. Like, it sounds Pacific-y and islandy, and Vinny, and it's full energy. Well, we won't take any more time. Thank you for coming on, Vinny. Blessed to know you, man. I'm proud of you. Don't ever question your father. I am sure he is over the moon, happy and proud of you. Keep working hard, though. I mean, you got to have your goals and set your sights, your focuses. Don't stop being you. Don't change for any money. Yeah, I think you're gonna be just fine. And
thank you very much.
Take care.
See you 11/11.
What's that?
Will I see you 11/11?
Possibly, because they haven't bought my flight yet. I keep asking about the flight, but yeah, if not, I already looked it up. It's in New Jersey. I got to fly into Newark. Actually, Newark will be the closest airport, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's like a little bit north of Ridgefield. A little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So more than likely, maybe you sent the invitation, all right?
Yes, I'm getting that to you this week.
Okay. All right, man. All right, Vinny. Thank you, man. Good luck on your journey.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Well, what'd you think of Vinny there, Nicole?
No, he's definitely I can tell he's a good kid. He's definitely super energetic, which is great.
Yeah. Small package like dynamite, right? Explosive. Yeah. You know, as I talked to him, I realized like I've been around on a lot of shows, but when I go to do like I don't know if it was an interview or we were just having him on. I don't know what you could call what that just was. It didn't feel like I was interviewing anybody. It just felt like it was just a kind of a conversation and what's up and hey Vinny, what's going on with you? Because that's kind of like how everything I hear now is basically what I hear from my shows. But like but he's always one that'll ask for advice. What do you think? How do you do this? You know, and I guess as he was bringing up there, I guess the biggest thing I told him was, you know, invest in yourself, brand yourself, go out and try to get a contract with an energy drink or something else where they see your worth. Then people in wrestling, you know, the industry will see your worth. And
that's important.
To the words, he's went out and done it. So I am proud of him when I say that. And he is a good kid. And never a problem in the locker room. Always polite. Give you your chair. Tote your bag. You need a drink, Gangrel? You need something to eat? You know, like, super nice guy. So, but it's good. I'm happy for him, and I'm glad you got to talk to him a little bit. Even you stayed quiet over there.
I was listening. I was honestly listening because
You like that insurance broker jab?
I was like, damn, you got me.
Too bad. I got a text message. Somebody going, "Oh, you're interviewing." A friend of mine says you're interviewing Vinny, you should put him on the spot and ask him about one of his other trainers. And but I almost did it. I could say his initials, RBR.
Oh.
Rude boy. But I gotta say, but I would never. I don't know if I would have put Vinny on the spot. Like, he's too nice of a guy.
He would have blushed and probably just.
Plus, I got to figure out if I can make it to his wedding or not. Like, because I'm supposed to be in Chile, but I don't want to say we're haggling, but we are haggling over money. I'm like, exactly what are you offering me? And I would do it to see Chile, but like, I am so busy. The last thing I want to do is fly all the way down to South America and come back.